Will Canada survive as a country? That's the difficult question we will discuss today. Because Canada has a Quebec problem, and it can't necessarily be solved forever. We saw in our first lesson in this series that Canada is a modern multicultural society. We saw that it is an officially bilingual country, which means that English and French are the official languages of the country, and the two languages that government services are offered in. But the truth is, only 22% of Canadians are francophones, meaning people who speak French as their first language, and almost all of them live in Quebec, which wouldn't necessarily be a problem, except that the people of Quebec have been playing with the idea of leaving Canada and forming a separate country for over 50 years. Actually, longer. And they are not playing. In 1970, a terrorist group known as the Front de Libération du Québec, or FLQ for short, kidnapped a journalist and a British diplomat, and eventually killed the journalist named Pierre Laporte. The Prime Minister of Canada, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, declared a state of emergency in which Canada invoked the War Measures Act. The army was called in to help. Hundreds of people were arrested. Although the crisis was resolved, it led to the formation of a new political party, the Parti Québécois. A vote was held in 1980 to see if Quebecers wanted to leave Canada. But at that time, only 40% of them did, so it was defeated. But that was definitely not the end of Canada's Quebec problem. In fact, it may be getting worse, not better. In 1995, a new vote was held, and this time the results were much closer. Only 50.6% of Quebecers voted to stay in Canada. We've talked about democracy a lot in the different Anchor Facts series here on Knowable World. As you probably know, therefore, all you need to win a vote in a democracy is 50% plus one vote. Well, Quebec stayed in Canada by not much more than that margin. An extra 10% more of Quebecers wanted to leave Canada in 1995 than in 1980. If they have that vote again, what will happen? The people of Quebec just don't like multiculturalism as much as the rest of Canadians. They are really only interested in one culture, French-Canadian culture. Why do they have such a strong feeling about it? Only history can explain it. In our Anchor Facts series on Europe, which is coming up, you will learn that English people and French people had 100 years war against each other in the Middle Ages. France won its independence from England, thanks to the hero Joan of Arc. England and France have actually fought many wars against each other in history. There is a lot of bad blood, and French Canadians feel the connection to history in their language and traditions that are quite different from English ones. One wonders when the next vote will be held in Quebec to see how Quebecers now feel. Of course, it also depends on how other Canadians feel. People in Western Canada, in Alberta in particular, do not like having their tax dollars sent to Quebec. Maybe they will be the ones to choose to leave Canada. For now, Canada remains a country, but the people are extremely unhappy with their most recent Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. But Canadians did not choose the new Canadian Donald Trump, if you will, named Pierre Poilievre. They decided to stick with the Liberal Party and now have Prime Minister Mark Carney. Does that mean a better deal for Quebec, or for Alberta, or for all Canadians? We'll have to wait and see. As it turns out, it's Albertans who are now talking about seceding from Canada. In our final lesson, we'll look at the importance of the Canadian flag as the symbol of this, for now, united country, the famous maple leaf.